the importance of candy. Blue worksheet this week. Due tomorrow. Okay? Because we have school on Friday. Oh.
Why do we have school?
Good Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to go to work either.
There you go. Double win. I don't have to work either. Didn't pick up on the fact that we're waiting for it. Alright. So, two things I want to accomplish today. First up, writing equations in circles. That should take like 45 seconds. Because you only have two parts to a circle, right? Okay? You only have the center and you have the radius. And it's H and K for the center and it's the radius. The hard part of it is remembering the distance formula. We're going to have problems like that today. Okay? So this should be in multiple spots within your notes. It should be in your notes for one, and it should be on your supplemental sheet for the other one. Okay? The equation of a circle is the quantity x minus h squared plus the quantity y minus k squared equals r squared. So your center is at h comma k. Radius is r. All good things. Okay? Come on. Make sure there's nothing else there. Okay? So that's in your notes already. Okay? So write the equation of a circle with the center at 3 comma negative 2 and a radius of the square root of 5. Okay? Well, our equation for the equation of a circle is x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared equals r squared. I'm going to actually move that down just a little bit so I can write it right above. Okay. What's h? H is 3. What's k? Negative 2. So right away, I can go to, this is x minus 3 quantity squared plus y minus negative 2, so that's going to be plus 2 quantity squared, equals, what's r? R is the square root of 5, so r squared would be what? 5 would be r squared. So then this equals 5. Okay. That's the if there's one sticky point or one maybe trip you up spot in this stuff, it's you got to remember that you got to square r. Okay. And that's it. Questions on that? Now, I might tweak it by giving you, writing the equation of a circle with center at 0, 0, and passing through a given point. This is a classic NTC style type problem. What you need to remember here is something called the distance formula. But instead of calling it the distance formula, I'm going to call it the r, the radius formula. Because the distance from the center to any point on the circle is the radius. Okay? So normally this would be the distance between 2 points, but we're going to call it r for the case of circles. It's going to be, we're going to take the x values and we're going to subtract them and then square it. We're going to take the y values, subtract them, and square it, and then we're going to take the square root of that whole thing. Okay? So the distance formula is the sum of the squares of the squares of the differences of the x values and y values. So what that means over here in example A, I'll do example A, and then I want you to do example B, is, so my radius would be 2 minus 0. So 2 comes from the point that's on my circle. 0 comes from the x part of my center. I'm going to square that. Then I'm going to add to that negative 4 minus 0, and I'm going to square that. The negative 4 comes from the y part of the point on my circle. The 0 comes from the y part of my center. And then I got to take the square root of that. Two minus 0 is 2. Negative 4 minus 0 is negative 4. 2 squared is 4. Negative 4 squared is 16. So my radius is the square root of 20. Now, if I was specifically asking for what the radius was of this circle, you would have to simplify. If I'm asking for the equation, don't simplify it. Because what are you going to do with that radius to put it into the equation? You're going to square it. Squaring a square root just gets rid of the square root. Okay? So r is the square root of 20, but r squared is 20. So we don't need to simplify it. If I were, and I don't think that I will, ask you for the radius of this circle, this particular circle, given these 2 points, then you would simplify 2 square roots of 5. But because we're going to the, so now we go to our equation, x minus h, well that's x minus 0, right? So that's just going to be x squared, plus y minus k, well k is 0, so that's just going to be y squared, equals 20. And that's the equation of a circle that goes through, or that has a center at the origin, and it goes through the point 2 comma negative. Okay? You now try letter B. You find me the equation of the circle that goes through the center of 0 comma 0 and passes through the point 5 comma negative 12. So my radius is going to be 5 minus 0, quantity squared, plus negative 12 minus 0, quantity squared. And then I'm going to take the square root of that. So that's so the radius is the square root of 169, which is 13. Okay? I mean, if we had to simplify it, that one would simplify to 13. So since it goes through the origin again, there the center is the origin. It's x squared plus y squared. So I'm going to put another plus there. Let's not put another plus there. Equals 169. Yes, because 13 can be squared into 169. I wouldn't take a full point off, but I would take Try that one. Same concept, just change where the center was. We're going to have 2 minus 5 quantity squared plus negative 4 minus negative 12 squared. Now, you could have also had 5 minus 2 and negative 12 minus negative 4. Doesn't matter which order you were in as long as you stay in the same order. Understand what I'm saying? And you'll get the same answer. Okay? 2 minus 5 is negative 3. Negative 4 plus 12 is 8. Negative 3 squared is 9. 8 squared is 64. So I get the radius here is the square root of 73. Which means then my center is that one. So it's going to be x minus 2 quantity squared plus y minus negative 4 or y plus 4 quantity squared. And then square root of 73 squared is 73. Yes? Good times. Good times. Questions on any of that? Circles. Love the circles. Now, we got to talk a little bit, and this is kind of leading into a couple of weeks from now, too. But we're going to talk about a specific one here with a circle and a line. A circle and a line can intersect in one of 3 different ways. Okay? They can, a line can cut across a circle and it can touch twice. Okay? A line can cut across a circle and it can only touch once. So actually, let me back up a second here. Okay? In this case, this one is called a secant line. When it touches twice, it's called a secant line. If it touches once, it's called a tangent line. And if it doesn't touch at all, it's just called nothing. We're going to focus in on that middle one, the tangent. Because, let me see if I got it written down here below. There it is. Okay? Because the radius, which is right here, this is my radius, is perpendicular to the line of tangency at the point of tangency. So this line here is my tangent line. That's my tangent line, which would make this my point of tangency. What do we know about slopes of perpendicular things? What do we know about perpendicular slopes? So what do we call it? Can you say that to me in 2 words? Opposite is the first word. Reciprocal is the second. Yep. Perpendicular. I know. That was making me. That was unit 2. That was way back in end of September, early October. I mean, you just remember. Okay. Opposite reciprocals. So if it's A over B, then the perpendicular slope would be negative B over A. Okay. Now, how we're going to put all this together. Okay? I'm going to ask you to find or to give me the equation of the line that's tangent to that circle. So I'm going to give you the equation of a circle. I'm going to give you the point of tangency, and I'm going to ask you to find me the equation of the line. Okay? So I want the equation of that line, given all this other stuff. Okay? So, what can you tell me about this circle? Should be able to tell me two things about any circle. Where is it? No. It's at the origin, because it's got no H and it's got no K. Okay? So this point right here is at the origin. Okay? What else can you tell me about this circle? Radius is the square root of 37. Okay, right? We don't need that fact, but you only get, like I said on Monday, you only give me two pieces of information on a circle: center and radius. Okay, those are the only two things you get out of a circle. Okay, right? Fantastic. What do we know about this 6.1 or 6.1, 6,1 number? What is that? It's the point of tangency, right? So that's going to be this point right here. Okay? What do we now, or what did we just learn about the radius and the tangent line? Perpendicular, which means what's opposite reciprocals? The slopes are opposite reciprocals. So these are perpendicular here. So let's find, because we have the 2 points that are on the radius, let's find the slope of the radius. How do I find the slope between 2 points? Again, make me think back to Unit 2. Rise over run is one way. Another way? Y equals mx plus b, that's going to be our final answer. Yep. Slope. How am I going to find the slope? Okay? Change of y over the change of x, right? So subtract the y's over subtract the x's? Yeah, okay. So if I subtract the y's, then that's going to be 1 minus 0. If I subtract the x's, that's going to be 6 minus 0. Or you could have gone 0 minus 1 and 0 minus 6. Right? Either way, you'll get 1/6 for the slope. Correct? Okay? That's the slope of the radius, right? What's the slope of the tangent line? out, Shelby. -6. Opposite means it goes from positive to negative. Reciprocal means it flips over. So 1/6 becomes -6. Okay? Now, you have the slope of this line. The slope of this brown line right here is -6. You have a point that it goes through. Right? So we can do y equals mx plus b. What am I going to use for my y? Not yet. Because, okay, so what of y equals mx plus b, what do we have? We have y, x, and m if we wanted to, right? We just don't have the b. So let's use that to find our b. Okay, so what am I going to use for y? 1, because it's the y part of the point that we're going through. What am I going to use for m? -6, because it's the slope of that line. What am I going to use for x? 6. And I don't have b. Correct? -6 times 6. -36. So this is 1 equals -36 plus b. What's b? 37. Now I've got m and I've got b. So my final answer, the equation of this line, is y equals -6x plus 37. And that's the equation of the tangent line. It seems like every third year or so, NTC throws one of these kind of questions on the final. And I don't remember if it was on last year or not. So, yeah. Okay. All right? I want you to try one. So write the equation of the line tangent to that given circle at this given point of tangency. So the equation of the circle is x minus 2 quantity squared plus y minus 5 quantity squared equals 13. The point of tangency is 2, -3. You find me the equation of the tangent. There it is. I found it. Pick the right pocket. Okay? So we know. I don't remember what my color scheme was, but we know that this point right here is, what's that point? 2, 5? We know that this point, right, her, is 2, 3. Excuse me, -3. Okay? So the slope of the radius would be -3 minus 5 all over 2 minus 2. Okay? So that's going to be -8 over 0, which is undefined. Defined. Got how to spell it for a second. Okay? What kinds of lines have undefined slopes? Right? Because they're all rise, no run. Right? So vertical lines are all rise, no run. What kinds of lines are perpendicular to vertical lines? Y equals them, horizontal lines, right? Okay? So I need a y equals line, a y equals some number line that goes through that point? Well, that's going to be y equals what? Negative 3. Okay? We'll do it a different way for you, Maddie. Okay? Ready? So, if this is my slope, right, what's the perpendicularness of that? 0 over positive 8, right? What is 0 over 8? 0, right? Okay. So when I go to y equals mx plus b, right? My y is negative 3. My slope is 0. My x is positive 2. I gotta solve for b, right? Okay. 0 times 2. 0. Okay, so then this is just negative 3 equals b, right? Now I go back and I say y equals mx plus b again. But now this time I'm going to say y, that break. I'm going to say y equals, my slope was 0, x plus negative 3, right? Well, what's 0 times x? 0 plus negative 3. Negative 3. So it's just same thing. Okay. Just a little more work, but still get you the same thing. Okay? You should have the front side of the worksheet done already. You finish that, and then you have the back side now to get done for tomorrow. Okay? Summative quiz tomorrow. I know, meanest ever. Just go straight. When you think of Linsmeyer, you think pink and need. Okay? Okay? Yep. No, it's every day.